Good morning, everyone. This is Nicole Ali. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to come with this video discussing that they tracked a wolf leaving the radioactive Chernobyl zone. So I don't really discuss a lot about radiation. I think it would be good if a few of us would, those of us who are more interested in science, and of course the radical sister as well, Sister Ajali. I would appreciate, those of you, if you're interested in science and maybe you're not really comfortable or ready to do videos on science, just shoot us emails. My email is NicoleAli864@yahoo.com. I'll try to remember to leave that in the comment section as well. A few people have had issues with the spelling, so it's NicoleAli864@yahoo.com. Anyway, they for the first time have been able to track a wolf that is leaving this radioactive Chernobyl zone. This was published July 3rd, 2018. I thought it would be interesting to do this article because there's a lot on science and technology, STEM in general, that Anne, myself, and the radical sister have put out, but more particularly is the radiation, because that affects all of us consistently, and it's important for us to prepare or become more knowledgeable of what we can do to protect ourselves. I don't think it's a good idea to track animals coming out of the Chernobyl zone without isolating them and studying the effects of the radiation on their tissues. Without that, you're just searching in the dark for, answers and not even knowing what's going on. So they say here, of course, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster of 1986 left a landscape that was highly toxic, but in the 30 years since, we've seen small signs of nature recovering. The latest is evidence of a young wild wolf boldly making its way far out of the designated Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, or CEZ. So if you have a small wolf, perhaps a wolf cub, or I think this is just a picture they have. I don't know if that's necessarily from the Chernobyl zone, but if it is a small wolf cub or a teenage wolf, cub or something like that, not necessarily an adult, it came from a brood of other small wolves who have parents. Because as we know, wolves, they travel in packs. So it would lead me to believe there are many other wolves out there that may be trying to leave out of this zone, probably because they can't find food. And they're leaving out of that area. I don't even know if they have quarantined this area as effectively as they should have, because this just happened in 1986. There are people who weren't even born in 1986, so it did not happen too long ago. Also, the fallout from Chernobyl is clearly still affecting the wildlife there. So I don't think it's a good thing to just say, hey, we found some wolves, and we found one wolf leaving the exclusion zone, so maybe this is a good thing. I want to know what they're going to do. So they go on giving more statistics and information about the zone itself. They say here it covers some 4,300 square kilometers, about 1,660 square miles. The zone is still considered too contaminated, obviously, to be habitable by humans, of course, but some wildlife in the area seems to be flourishing without interference from human activity. Well, human activity is what caused the nuclear disaster in the first place. Okay, and we already know those with the high IQ are the ones who consistently cause these problems. They also go on to say the animals that are there are pushing the boundaries of the zone, specifically a young male gray wolf, which has been recovered venturing some 369 kilometers from its home. That tells me that they've been tracking these wolves by their maturation and their mating habits as well. If they can tell you that the wolf is 229 miles from its home, which is very far for a wolf to travel by themselves, indicating to me also that this wolf is finding food, because to travel 229 miles by yourself, you have to be able to find food, but the food that it's finding is probably also radioactive. It's also contaminated, just like the wolf is. So they give this map of the Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, and they show times and dates of when it was tracked. This was from 3 years ago. So this is very far behind. It's showing where it's tracking. So for instance, to February 6, 2015, it was found here where they had the marker here. Oops. On the 19th, it was found here, 10:05 a.m. So they tracked them in the morning again. Let's see. The 20th, it was here. It didn't travel that far. And it might not be able to travel as far because there may be more radiation in certain areas. So, of course, with radiation, it affects your bones, it affects your metabolism, it acidifies a lot of tissues, and that can cause you to become tired. Maybe the wolf found food in that area between 219 and 220 and stopped there for a day to rest. We don't know. So, I'm going to continue on. So they're saying that this is the first time scientists know that an animal leaving the zone has covered such a great distance, and it could be a sign of how these populations might spread in the future. This is not good. What is more important to me is how far the genes have mutated by the nuclear radiation that's spreading. Someone's saying here, instead of being an ecological black hole, the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone might actually act as a source of wildlife to help other populations in the region. Okay, this is bullshit. You can't even call this wildlife at this point because they are contaminated. They cannot ever reproduce with animals outside of the exclusion zone. They should not be allowed to get out of the exclusion zone. So as I said earlier, these animals should be tested. It should be determined what effect the radiation has on them. Are they able to have they been able to not wash out, but have they been able to decrease the amount of radiation from generation to generation? This is what should be analyzed. So I hope this is interesting to you. They've used GPS collars to track some of these animals, as they're saying down at the bottom. And they say here, I'm going to go to the conclusions. Oops, let's go back up. They said it is worth exploring how the CEZ may serve as a source for some wildlife populations rather than a sink, as has previously been suggested, write the researchers. Considering the high population density of wolves, specifically relative to neighboring uncontaminated reserves, up to 7 times greater, it is appropriate to speculate that wolves born in the CEZ regularly disperse into surrounding populations. So that's not. I don't see anything positive coming out of these contaminated, radioactive wolves dispersing into the surrounding populations. That I don't see how that's a good thing. But they've published this research, they're tracking the wolves in the European Journal of Wildlife Research. I hope that this was an interesting article for you. I'll leave the link in the description box, of course. I'll remember to leave my email there or in the comment section. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when I post a new video or go live. I hope to see you soon in the next video, and have a great day.